I was like heated up. If somebody pushing me, I will hit them. I said to the trainer with my attitude, I want to fight. I had like one fight that if I would lose the fight, I couldn't pay my rent.
Yes, this is Jaluna. She is 6 months and she's my youngest daughter.
One paradox of essentialism is that essentialists actually explore more options than their non-essentialist counterparts, whereas non-essentialists commit to everything or virtually everything without actually exploring. Essentialists systematically explore and evaluate a broad set of options before committing to any, because they will commit and go big on one or two ideas or activities. They deliberately explore more options at first to ensure that they pick the right one. Regian, this is a book from Greg McNone. It's called Essentialism.
Okay.
And basically it's about how can you focus on something? How can you remove all the things that are non-essential and focus on what's important? And what I find really interesting about your career is the way you started, the different sports you have explored in order to come to kickboxing. So I would like to talk about that in a second. Let's start with the intro. Hey guys, how's everyone doing? We're doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. And today we're here with a new episode of the Success Show. And today we're joined by Regian Eersel, one and only immortal.
Yes.
Nowadays, Regian Eersel is a one champion lightweight champion of the world, right?
Yes.
Unbeaten for 6 years.
Yes.
Which is a incredible performance. And we're honored to have you on the show today.
Thank you. I'm honored also.
It's a pleasure, bro. We would like to start by how it all started. Could you tell us about how you came to kickboxing?
Whoa. Yeah.
Before you continue watching, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you never miss a future upload.
It all started when I was, I think, 9-10 years. I was watching with my dad always the K1 on television in Japan, and I was like, hey, it's a nice sport, you know. Maybe one time I want to try it. Well, I went to school. Of course, every child go to school. I did rugby by that time. I even was selected by the national Dutch team in the junior, but I didn't go well in school. So my parents said, okay, you have to stop with rugby and focus on your school. And when your grades go up, then you can go back to rugby or another sport, you know. So I quit with rugby. I started focusing on my school. Okay, my grades went up. Then, like, I think 5 months later, my parents said, okay, it's going well in school. So you can go back to rugby or you can choose another sport, you know. So I was thinking, like, should I go back or should I go pick another sport? And then the K1 was again on television, and I was like, okay, maybe I will try kickboxing, you know. So I went on the internet, Googled the nearest gym in my neighborhood, and there was this gym, Sichotong, Amsterdam. And I walk inside, and I was a tall, skinny guy. I said to the trainer with my attitude, I said, yeah, I want to fight. And my trainer looked at me. He looked at me and he started laughing. I said, listen, if you come from now, every training for 6 months, I'm going to give you a fight. So I did. And 7 months later, I had my first fight. I was 16 years old. I had my first fight and I won on points. And I fell in love with the sport. 2 years later, when I was 18, I became professional. And yeah, that's when it started.
Beautiful story. And could you even take us a little bit even further back to when you were like 4 years old? Because obviously you made the switch from
all
countries,
the way
right?
Back. Wow. Yeah, I was born in Suriname. I was raised by my grandparents. When I was 4, I moved to the Netherlands to my parents. At that time was a hard time because if you know, Suriname is very tropical country. You know, good weather. There's no snowing and stuff like that, no cold weather. And I came back. I came to the Netherlands when it was winter, and I hated it, man. I hated it. And different people, different food. The weather was not good. I was not in my element. I think it took me almost a year to get used to the environment, to the country, to the food, to the people also. And yeah, I can't say I had a hard time. Yeah.
When you were younger, I imagine you went to school. How did the integration process go for you to come from like a
Yeah.
Surinamese school with little children to a
Yeah.
here school with little children?
The integration went like stiff, you can say, because okay, I have no problem with the language because in Suriname we speak Dutch and in Netherlands we speak also Dutch. But there were different children, and the times and the weather was also different because in Suriname you go 6 o'clock in the morning to school till 12, and then it's the hottest on the day. Then you go home. And here it is like almost all day. You get up in the morning and it's still dark outside. You come home like 3 o'clock maybe, and 1 hour later it's gonna get dark again. So for me, my body it was confusing, and also the children. Is uh, I was in a class with mixed children from different backgrounds, and I was not used to that because in Suriname, okay, you had different backgrounds, but yeah, everybody is from the country. And here I was in Amsterdam. In Amsterdam, we didn't have that. So for me, it was a little bit confusing. And then we have the food, different food, very different food. Suddenly, I had to eat bread, in the afternoon, and yeah, I ate it, but I think like 2 hours later, I had to throw up because my stomach didn't. So yeah, man, terrible, man.
Was sports one of the outlets that you directed yourself to escape from everything that was unknown?
Yes, I was like a little bit troubled child back then because yeah, like I said, it was not in my environment. Different people, the food was not good, and then I was like, yeah, you can see heated up. Every little thing like that irritates me, I I would explode. Like explode. So, like for example, if somebody pushing me, and I said don't do it, and they push me again, I will hit them. And I had like trouble on school because of that. Of course, you cannot hit other children. So my parents said, "Listen, you have to go on a sport, and at least a martial arts sport." So my first sport was taekwondo, and it helped me a lot. It made me like easier in class. And I did also a couple fights in the sport. I get my blue belt with the red slip. So yeah, when I started with the sport, it went a little bit better. Yeah.
When it comes to values you've learned from different sports, could you go from all the sports you've done? So there's taekwondo, there's
Taekwondo, I did like a short time MMA. Then I go to rugby and kickboxing and Muay Thai.
did all the different sports have different things they taught you that now shaped you into who you are?
Yes, but they all have the same, and that's discipline. You have to get up, take care of your body, go to the gym or the club, to practice. Then your coach say you have a fight or a match. Same thing, you have to practice, 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 going to different strategies with your coach or your team. And then there is fight day or match day, and yeah, you go and finish the guy or or win from another team. So that's the main thing is discipline. And then there is also respect. Taekwondo, respect for the teacher, respect for your fellow students. So yeah, teach me also to have respect for everybody. And yeah, it helped me a lot.
Would it be fair to say that in your the unorthodox style that you use nowadays, we can find the little hints of all the sports you've done? Because taekwondo, obviously, you have the kicks,
Yes.
and then rugby, you have the, woof,
Yeah, the
like you're never
mental
scared. You
yeah, the
always
toughness.
you go inside, and those two things are. I mean, you see it in every fight of you. You don't stop,
Yeah,
and your kicks, bro, they're crazy.
you can say that. You can say that. Never thought about that before, but yeah, you can say that. It made me who I am today, and you see it maybe in my fight style, with the kicks and coming forward all the time. You know, pushing the opponent backwards, and I never thought about that, but yeah, it's what you say.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps it would be a good observation. I mean, that's when I heard your background, I thought, oh, I mean, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
What would be your favorite technique?
My favorite technique. I don't have like a favorite technique. I will use my knees. I wouldn't say it's a technique, but I like to use my knees. If you saw my fighting videos, every
have.
fight that I have, I throw knees. So my next opponent, you will get them for sure. So yeah, that's what I like, man, throwing knees. And for the rest, yeah, I like to push back my opponent. He has to feel my energy. You know, I'm the dominant guy. You know.
You enjoy like putting that pressure, like them feeling the pressure.
Yes, of course.
I've seen a video also where you were called into the corner and they gave you a little like chair to sit on, and you were like, no, I
Yeah.
don't have to sit, I'm good.
Yeah.
Just stare down your opponent while you were
Yeah,
sitting.
of course. For me, I never used to sitting down between rounds. So if they offered me a chair the first time, I was like, what are you doing? You know, I'm not used to sitting down. So I said, no, I don't want a chair. You know, I was standing up. So yeah, it's not to intimidate my opponent. It's just for me, myself, you know. And people say like, oh, he's not taking the chair, you know. Yes, for me, you know, I'm never used to the chair, you know. My first fight in America also, they take the chair and they pointing to it like you have to sit down. I just say no, I'm not gonna sit down, you know. I don't have to, you know. There's no rule in fighting like you have to sit down in the chair, you know, in between rounds. So simple.
And so if you think about it a little bit, is there like so before a fight, like do you like try your best to like intimidate your opponent, or you just, because you're a very down to earth guy, I like you don't do a lot of talking, like people know you.
Yeah, no, I don't. From my feeling, I don't like really are into imitate my opponent. I just look at him and I'm just look at him and I try to absorb his energy, you know, like what kind of energy he has, you know. If he want to hurt me, I will notice, you know, because then I see the fire in the eyes. But if they are like quiet and like me, then I'm like, okay, you're quiet. What's in your mind, you know? And then yeah, so I'm not like intimidate somebody, but if they're going to my face in my face, yeah, then I have to, you know.
Have you ever had a fight where like you felt like there was a lot of like pressure, like
Yes. Yes, it was in Turkey. I had to fight a Turkish guy. Turkish people are crazy, man. In a good way. But in the stare down, he came in my face. He was pushing me, and I was like, you know, okay. Then I pushed back, and everybody in the room like, oh, you know, they're gonna fight tomorrow. And so that when he started pushing me, I was like, okay, man, it's going down tomorrow, you know, because you're trying to intimidate me now, but you have to do it tomorrow, you know, because tomorrow we're gonna fight. And I got with a lot of aggression into the fight. And yeah, when you go with a lot of aggression into a fight, you're gonna make mistakes. I did make mistakes, but I won on KO. But you know, when I rewatched the fight, I was thinking like I should have contained my aggression, you know, and I let it all out, you know. Then you're gonna make mistakes, you know, missing with hooks, you know, falling down, you know, and stuff like that. But I won on KO, so that's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
the story ends well.
Yeah.
When it comes to you talked that you quickly said that you were a trouble child when you were younger.
Yeah.
What were some things that you did to keep that as low as possible? Obviously, there's fighting. Were there other things that you directed your mind and your aggression, if I may say, to?
Yes. So besides of doing sports, I did a lot of gaming also. And before that, because that was on an older age, the PlayStation stuff and that kind of stuff. But before that, it was reading. So yeah, I had even a membership of the public, how do you say,
Library.
library? Yeah, library. And yeah, man, each week I go to there, I rent some books, read the books, give him back, rent some more books, and not like comics books, but like big books. And yeah, man, I read a lot, and now these days, everything on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is there a book that caught your attention and nowadays you still remember really well?
a book? What do you mean?
Like what was your favorite book, basically?
Um, it was like the writer was Darren Shan. It was a couple books. I think it was a series of 10 or 12 books. It was a story about vampires, but vampires that are like in the inside of the normal world. And yeah, that was my favorite books.
Nice. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about mystic figures. You're
Yes.
when you step into the ring, you have a mask on.
Yes.
Could
Yes.
you tell something about that?
Yes. So back in the amateurs, uh, I was fighting a lot, like almost each month. But my condition was so well, like when I was amateur, sometimes I didn't take rest between rounds. So when the first round was over, I go to my corner, take a little sip. Then after 10 seconds, I go out of my corner and just standing in the ring like this, to intimidate my opponent. Because back then I was like a little bit more aggressive, I was younger, I was ready to go. So they start calling me, my friends, my teammates start calling me the onsterfelijke in Dutch. We say in English the immortal. So I used the nickname the immortal. So then the movie came out, 300. It's a fighting movie, and in the movie, the there is an army, the Immortals, a Persian army, and they use the mask with the mask. So my friends say, "Yeah, man, you have to use that, the mask and stuff." So first time I put it on the T-shirt, the Immortal with the mask, bam, and then my name Regian Eersel. Then when I was pro, my second manager, he said like, you have to use that mask, man. Like not only on a T-shirt, but find a way to buy it or make it, so you can put it on your head. And I'm like down to earth, like all the other people in here in Europe. No, man, why I have to put a mask on to go? It's like he said, try it, man. You don't fight in the Netherlands. You don't fight in Europe. You fight in America, China, Russia, everywhere. So the people gonna love it. Believe me. So first time I searched online, I found the mask. I bought it. First time I was in China. I put the mask on, and the people went crazy, man. Like really crazy. And I won on KO also. So yeah. So from that time, I used the mask to go out before my fight. And yeah, people said now, yeah, the mask is representing my face because my face show no emotion when I fight. It's like a face. You cannot tell if it's mad, if it's angry, if it is pain. So yeah.
And talking about your walkouts, there's
Yeah.
something also that's really particular or spectacular about it. It's the dancing. Could you tell something about that?
Yes, the dancing. That's a part of relaxation before you going into the war. And I believe, this go way back, way back. My grandparents are from Africa. And almost if you look at the tribes there, they also dance before they go to war. And I believe also, you have to have like a relaxed moment before you go into the chaos. And that's my relaxed moment before I go into the chaos.
It's fascinating. I find it really interesting because different people have different ways of getting that. I think like everyone searches that relaxation moment because you have to be able to focus your mind to something, right?
Yes,
I
yes.
find it interesting to see some people, they pray before a fight. Some people just run directly into the ring like Rico Furufa does.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we also have this, for example.
Yeah, I enjoy my music. You know, I enjoy my music dance. That's my relaxed moment. And, let everything fall down. Enjoy your moment. This is my moment, and I have to enjoy it.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Do you also enjoy music just like outside of
Yeah, of course, of
sports?
course, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. African music, Surinamese music, Dutch rap, Dutch hip hop.
Who's your favorite artist?
Uh, yeah, favorite artist. Don't have like a really favorite artist. I have a lot. Future, Burna Boy, Migos, Wizkid, Drake.
Nice insight look into your playlist on
Yeah, you can.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm wondering also, so besides things that you like for example, music, obviously you have a career outside of fighting.
Yes.
Could you tell something about that?
My career outside of fighting, like my work or.
Yeah, everything. Yes, but let's start with your work.
Yeah, I'm working as a cook at a daycare. So I'm cooking food for children. I do that part time. Besides that, I'm teaching also kickboxing to adults in another gym, and I teach also kickboxing to the youth here in my neighborhood, Amsterdam Southeast. And besides that, sometimes I do personal training, but that's petsing only kickboxing.
What do you enjoy the most?
Well, teaching kickboxing. Yeah, I enjoy that the most.
Do you see it as a duty to pass on the knowledge that you've received from your coaches and your?
I don't see it as a duty, but I like to learn people my style, because my style is rare. I think nobody else has my style, so it's like if I don't teach it, maybe it will,
Vanish.
yeah, like vervagen, how do you say?
Yeah, disappear.
Disappear. Yes, disappear. Yeah, that's that word I was looking for. Yeah, disappear.
And is that a style that only in this gym you can find back, or are there also other places where they teach it?
No, there are other places. Only one place. That's Lucien Carbin. He is the founder of my style, I could say. My trainer was the former sparring partner of Lucien Carbin. So he of course had the style of Lucien Carbin, but he did his own twist in the style, so that you see now through me, and I do also a little twist of myself, inside the style. So the style is changing a little bit, but yeah, Lucien Carbin teaches a similar style.
The
Almost
style,
the same.
it's evolving, right? Like you
Yes.
guys keep on adding little things to it.
Yes.
But what are the changes that have been made from Lucien Carbin to your trainer to you?
I cannot say that. You have to experience by yourself to see it, because then you have to put the fight of Lucien Carbin. You have to look at my trainer. You have to look at me, and then it's
can
too
see
much
the-
work.
Yeah, I can imagine. Have you ever had other fighters that you because everyone has their own style, right? Were there other styles that really impressed you in the ring? Because you've fought really aggressive guys, or you have fought guys that are only countering. You fought guys that are only jabbing. Like what was the most difficult style that you have?
I have a couple. I fought a lot in China, and I had one guy that had like a Sanda style. And Sanda is the main fighting sport in China, and it's a really difficult style. They use a lot of weird kicks. We're not used to the kicks, and yeah, that was one. The second one was Brett Riddle. He's fighting now in the UFC, but he was very fast, very fast. He was working with in-outs, in-out, in-out, in-out. And like in the first 30 seconds, I was feeling like I cannot touch him, and I never had that feeling before. And I was like, okay, I was really impressed, by that style. And yeah, 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 that are the two styles that I was like very impressed of.
When you look back at your fights, could you bring us back to the most memorable fight you've had? You've had so many. I know it's hard to choose, but
The most memorable fight was, I think, the first fight against Nicky Holzke. Because everybody thought I would lose the fight. That's why. And it was also the first time that it was like here in my country, so I get the recognition, because most of the people didn't know me. They knew Nicky Holzken because he was the glory champion, so they knew him, but they didn't know me, and they thought like, oh, he will lose it because he's a nobody. But I knew myself, so.
new kid on the block.
Yes, new
Make
kid
some
on the
space.
block. Yes, exactly.
Could you talk about that fight, like everything that went prior, because there was a lot of talking as well. I don't know if you were used to that back then.
Yeah, that fight was loaded. Loaded in the way of I get a lot of messages from the fans of Nicky Holzken. Like, yeah, you're gonna lose, you're not gonna make it, give up. Stuff like that. Also a little bit racist comments, but let's not talk about that. So I already knew what the big stream, of people were thinking. Like, he's gonna lose. So that motivates me extra, to push myself harder in the training. And besides that, when I became pro, he became the glory champion of the world. And I already knew in my mind, like, if I make it to the top, I will face him, and that's for sure. So what people don't know is that I was mentally already prepared for the fight. It was like many years before that I already know, like, if I make it to the top, I will face you, definitely. And it happened. So mentally, I was already prepared, The only thing that has to be done is the fight itself. That's the only thing. But in my head, I already won.
What's the hardest part of fighting? Because I've heard some really interesting talks about that the mental game prior to a fight is much more important to the fight. How do you see that?
Yes, the mental game is the most important thing. If you are mentally here not prepared well, I wouldn't say you will lose the fight, but the fight's gonna be way harder because you're not fighting only against your opponent, you're fighting against yourself. In the way of, from all the people that have experience to go inside of the ring, they knew you have to fight against yourself because you have to push yourself to go to the pain, to go to the tiredness, to go look at inside his eyes, and to hurt the guy, but he wants to hurt you also, So yeah, you have to go over the limit.
Have you ever had doubts?
Everybody has doubts, of course, but the thing is, you don't have to. How do you say? It doesn't. It don't have to become overruling, So when the moment you have doubts, you have to think about the positive side. Yeah.
When it comes to your nutrition before a fight, like when
Yeah.
you're cutting, how does that look?
Well, I do everything by myself. In the weight cut, in my diet, I eat a lot of vegetables. I go almost vegetarian. I eat fish, dry fish, fruit, no carbs, of low carbs, no potatoes, no rice, no bread. And yeah, just healthy stuff, man.
And you mentioned something really interesting. You cook yourself,
Yes,
all of it.
yes, yes. You're surprised?
Yeah, I'm not surprised, but I mean I heard a lot of athletes that like they have their meal prep, or they have some kind of way to make it easier for themselves. But obviously, you're a chef, right?
Yes, I'm a chef.
Is that one of the reasons that?
No, I wouldn't say that's the reason. I learn like by the years, and of course, I get advice from people around me, like you have to do this or that, and I'm try everything. And if it works for me, I take it in my schedule. So, yeah, that's it, man.
I'm wondering, like, so besides the food, do you also take supplements, as in like vitamins or?
Only vitamin pills, sometimes magnesium, and
For muscle recovery.
yes, muscle recovery, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's all natural.
Nice. Oh, I wasn't asking for that. I'm always
Yeah.
because we had an interview with a food therapist is what they call those people, and they have like vitamin B, vitamin D, vitamin C, and then do like a blood test to see like what's missing, and then you can get like your optimum, like, and they make like a whole package of all the vitamins that you need.
That you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that, but yeah, maybe it helps. I don't know. I never did it, so yeah.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
I want to ask, are there some daily habits, so like besides your nutrition, that you pay, like some daily small things that improve your fighting?
Daily small things. Let me think. I have to listen to my body. My body say I have to rest, then I go rest. When I have the time, of course. But yeah, I'm listening a lot to my body, and I think that's also important because you have only one body, so you have to listen to it. If your body say I have pain here, yeah, then you take it easy, on that part. And yeah, I think I doing well with the listening to my body. Yeah.
You mentioned rest. What does rest look like for you? Is it like sleep, or can be other things?
Can be other things. Laying on the couch, watching Netflix is also rest, because your body is laying down and relaxing. So yeah, sleeping, of course, that's the best rest you can have. But yeah, stuff like that.
When it comes to active recovery, like for example sports, but it's not really putting pressure on your body, do you also make use of that?
Active recovery. My children, man. Yeah, I have two daughters, and yeah, I call that active recovery because yeah, you have to do a lot, and you have two small children, and they suck also the energy out of you. But that's okay. It keeps you active. For my part, it keeps you young, and yeah, that's my active recovery.
Are you so besides the moments where you're resting or you have active recovery, do you consider yourself as a busy person? Because I hear a lot of fighters that, not a lot of fighters, I mean everyone's doing something on the side, but it's to say the least, it's phenomenal to see that you have like almost full-time job and then you're also training, right?
Yes,
Is it the boredom that you don't want to like just sit home, or?
Yes and no. Look, I work part-time. I train full-time. I teach kickboxing part-time. I do personal training on the side. So I do a lot, but I do these things because I like it, of course, and it's my plan B. What I said before, you have also a life after fighting, and I make good money, but in 10 years it will be over, so you have to make a plan B to make sure that you earn the money or not, and not the money that I earn now, but enough money to live, and to maintain my family. So yeah, that's the plan, plan B. That's what I'm working on right now.
That's really, I really respect that you think like so far ahead, because I'm wondering like if you visualize now and you think like you said you'll probably fight until 40. That's like a regular age for fighters to call it a day.
Yeah.
After that, how would your life look?
After that, I hope I can give my knowledge to the next generation. If I dream really big, maybe my own team, maybe even my own gym, but that's something for the future. And yeah, I think I want to travel the world also, like I do now with my fighting, but then maybe to coach some other fighters or to teach, teach seminars or something like that. And yeah, just enjoy the sport, enjoy the world, enjoy life.
If I'm correct, recently you had a seminar, right, in New York. How was
Yes,
that?
yes. Amazing, man.
Yeah?
Amazing, yes. The fight was good. I met a lot of good people, good energy. Um, yeah, it was a good experience. Yeah.
What was good about it? Could you elaborate a little bit? Because I know like the vibe in US is different, right? Like I think we have a small preference to
Yeah, it
maybe.
is, because here in Europe we are like uh, more down to earth, if you know what I mean. Like in the US, they are like, "Oh, you're a world champion. Can I take a picture?" And here in Europe, we are like, "Yeah, yeah, you're a champion. Good for you," And we are like, "Okay, it's good now." But in the US and in Asia, they are different. Um, so the vibe and energy is different. They treat you like you are like a superstar. And I like it. I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah, I like it. And yeah, it's good because that gives you also the energy to teach them and to have a talk with them. So yeah, man.
What would be your favorite place in the world if you could just live there and fight there and do everything there?
If I could live there, yeah, I think the States. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I've been there like I think now 9 times or 10 times, and it's always good to go back. Um, because yeah, they just treat you different. And yeah, what I would say, like, they do things also different, like management things. They do more with your like merchandise, and yeah, just a different world.
You, you think Holland could learn from that?
Yes, yes, definitely. But the thing is, in Holland, the level of fighting is way higher than the US. So that's
It's a weird
the other
shift,
side.
right? Like
Yeah.
there it's more hyped, but here the level's higher. We see a
Yeah.
lot of people also that are immigrating there or that are signing contracts there and they just stay there.
Yes, yes. Because life, I think, I wouldn't say life is better there, but I think the energy and certain things there are better than here. But the level of fighting is lower than here.
What do you think is the reason that the level of fighting there is not comparable to Dutch kickboxing, for example?
I think the lack of experience in fighting outside the U.S. I think a lot of trainers didn't fought a lot outside of the US, so you keep the level low then. And the other thing is, most of the gyms, they don't use to hard sparring. Here in the Netherlands, we use the hard sparring. Like almost like at a fight pace. So in America they don't do that, or not in the most gyms. So
When you're training here, if you can put it in percentage, like where are you on like fight level, and then like
um, I think when I'm preparing for a fight, I spar like, depends on my opponent, but I think 70-80%. Yeah.
and you have enough opponents that are capable of fighting at world champion pace at 80%.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
I have. Yes.
it's fascinating. I mean, we're just talking about this gym. Could you tell something about the gym? I mean, obviously we just saw your
Well,
trainer.
we are sitting now in my gym, not my gym, but we are sitting in the gym that I train, Sichotong, Amsterdam. There are like two teams here, ABC Boxing Gym, so we have also like boxers. And yeah, my team Sichotong, we have kickboxers and Muay Thai fighters. It's a very small gym in Amsterdam Southeast, and I think we have now like eight, seven professional fighters, and yeah, man.
What's the like? How come that so many starts have come out of this gym?
I think the mentality, um, the training here is very hard. For what I heard, like from people that come once and they don't come back, then most of the time when I saw them on the street, I asked, hey, why you didn't come back, and then they say to me, no, the training is too hard, man. So I think, yeah, the mentality, um, and because of the hard training, yeah.
What are some qualities that make a trainer a good trainer?
Whoa, the qualities that make a trainer a good trainer. Experience, that's for me the most important thing. You can have a trainer um, who is very good in coaching but doesn't have experience. Then as a fighter, I'm thinking like, okay, you can coach good, but I don't have the respect for you. Um, I have respect, but not the most respect for you because you don't have the experience. You don't know. You don't experience what I have, what I'm going through. So I think for me, a good trainer, besides the coaching, is the first one is experience. Um, the second one is good coaching. You have to connect with your fighter. Um, so that's coaching. So experience and coaching. And the second thing is, um, yeah, I think hype. The same thing as you that you have a connection with your fighter is you have to hype your fighter also, get inside his mind. And I think that's also important in a fight because if you're not inside the head of your fighter, he's not gonna do the things you're gonna say when you coach him inside the ring.
Would you consider your trainer as a friend?
Yes and no. I'm more seeing him as my second dad. Yeah.
Do you have a lot of talks with him?
Yes. 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 A lot. I see him every day. So.
Yeah, yeah. With talks, I will rephrase. I specifically mean like, obviously you do physical training here, right? There's a lot
Yeah.
of kickboxing
Yeah.
and physical training, but then also the mental parts. Where, for example, if you're dealing with something, that he's one of the persons that you can go to.
Yes. Yes. I think we have once a week, sometimes more. We talk about the mental stuff, but only not about the mental stuff. Also like little problems that you go through in life. Most of the time, if I don't see a solution, I call him and I ask him, yeah, what would you do? And then he give me advice, and that's also a mental thing because you trust him. And that's also about the connection.
Besides your trainer, do you have other people that you go to for mental training, for example?
Yeah, my parents. My parents. I mean, they raised me, so they give me also advice how I can do certain things. Also, because I have now two children, um, I have my girlfriend also, but I have to raise them also. And you not get a book for how to raise children. So I ask my parents also most of the time for advice how I can do certain stuff. So yeah, man.
Could you tell us about the values that your parents thought were important for you to get from them?
Wow, the values. Respect everybody. That is the most important value. Yeah, man. By respect, I mean, um, I give you example. If you see somebody now walking inside the gym with, you know, uh, um, dirty clothes and stuff, I'm not gonna send him away. If he want to go to the toilet, I let him be. It's not because he looks dirty I'm gonna say no, you cannot use. It's also a sign of respect. Like you wanted to go to the toilet, you can use the toilet. Just a little example.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful that your parents raised you that way. And what are some things that you want to pass on to your children?
Yeah, the same, man. The same.
Yeah,
Yeah, the same. Yeah.
nice, nice.
So
We have an extra guest on the podcast.
extra guest, yes.
Could you introduce her? Could you introduce us to her?
Yes, this is Jaluna. She is 6 months and she's my youngest daughter. Yeah?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Children are so amazing, right?
Yes, children are amazing.
Was it always a goal of you to become a dad?
It was not a goal, um, but I did want to have children. Um, yeah, mommy. But yeah, what can I explain? The reason that I got children is that I don't want to be like an old dad, you know. So the 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 main thing was I was before I get children, I was thinking like, okay, I'll get children after my career. But then I was like, then I'm a little bit old, 40 years and then start with children is a little bit old. So then I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's start now.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
And obviously, like she's still really young. Do you have any goals that you would want your children to pursue, or do you want to
No,
give
I don't
everything
have
to them?
I don't have goals. I just want that they will be happy, just happy and enjoying life. So certain goals, no, but just happy, man. I just want that they will be happy.
What does happiness mean to you?
Happiness, uh, yeah, they have to enjoy life. They have to do what they love. What yeah. So they have to do what they uh, love to do. I don't know what they're gonna like in life. So
And for
maybe
you,
for
what is
me,
happiness?
happiness is this. My children are my happiness now. Yes.
Before you go into the ring, do you sometimes like do you think about them? Is that one of your triggers to?
Yes, of course. Of course. They're my motivation. They're my motivation because daddy wants to go on holiday and daddy wants to take everybody with them. And by way of performing, I'm able to do that.
It's a really pure sport because you're compensated based on your performance, right? There are a lot of jobs where you're paid on an hourly rate, right? But when you're fighting, if you fight well, you obviously win double of your opponent, and you can also get bonuses. What do you think of
Yes.
the system? Like because it makes it very competitive, right? It's not for everyone.
Yes, it's not for everyone. The system is, I wouldn't say good, but it helps to motivate. That's the only thing. It helps to motivate. But if you don't do good, then you don't gonna earn like a lot of money.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you feel that as pressure? Like, does it feel like pressure sometimes when you know that you have to win the fight in order to, for example, pay your bills or whatever? It's not the case anymore, I imagine. But
No, no, no. Yeah, not anymore. But in the past, I felt the pressure. Yeah, yes. I had like one fight that if I would lose the fight, I couldn't pay my rent. So
Wow.
that was like really pressure. And in that fight, I was really aggressive, and I won the fight. So it was good luck for me. And my opponent was 3 kilos heavier than me.
Wow.
And I get 100 euros for each kilo. So I get 300 euros above my paycheck. So lucky
Yeah.
me. Lucky me.
It's a funny way to, because then if you're 10 kilos heavier, you can rig the game a little bit. But
Yes, yes.
I imagine in the smaller organizations, the rules are
Yeah,
are
they're
like
not gonna
this.
allow that 10 kilos.
Have you ever
Okay.
had fights where you thought the rules were like crazy? I mean, if you fought in like China and countries where they really love their own fighters, I can imagine that sometimes there are some,
Um, yes and no. I had one fight in Russia. Normal, the rule is 3-8 counts and you're done fighting.
okay, yeah.
I gave the guy in one round 3-8 counts. The referee, he gave the last 8 counts and he said, okay, let's fight. And me and my coach were like, this is 3-8 counts. So my coach was already saying like 3-8 counts, you have to stop the fight. Continue the fight. I knocked him out in the second round.
You
But
paid the price.
I paid the price, but I was confused, man. And yeah, of course, I had like a few losses that I was like, I'm not lost. I didn't lose the fight. But that's part of the game. You fight in a foreign country. against the local guy. So it
Yeah.
is what it is.
I can imagine when you fight a fight where the odds are against you when it
Yeah.
comes to like the country and everything, you can receive a lot of hate. How do you use like do you take that in? Does it hurt you or do you transmute it into power?
Yeah, it motivates me even more. Like with the fight against Nicky Hoskun, all the odds were against me. So that motivates me just to do better. Because, the moment I was professional, I had only 7 fights in the Netherlands. Then I got a new manager, and since I got that manager, I was fighting outside of the Netherlands. And when you fight outside of the Netherlands, you're gonna get local guys from that country where you're fighting in. So I'm used to the pressure. I'm used to be the underdog. So, and I love it because it was from almost the beginning. I mean, 7 professional fights, and then you start fighting in outside of the Netherlands. So
You're a world champion now.
yes.
Does that change anything in the way you approach fights? Because that pressure is a little bit different. Like now the people that fight you are the underdogs. Does that change something in your mentality when you fight, or you still have the same hunger?
No, I have still the same hunger. Because for me, a fight is a fight. It doesn't matter if the public is against you or with you. Of course, it is nicer if the public is with you and you're the favorite guy. But that doesn't like distract me of what the end goal is. The end goal is to win from the guy. So it doesn't matter if the guy has 1 million followers on Instagram or 1,000 followers on Instagram. For me, the end goal is to win and fight in a spectacular way, right?
She agrees.
Yeah.
When it comes to recognition, do you like you've had incredible performances, and just watching your fights
Yeah.
it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Do you think you get the recognition you deserve when and then like related to your performance?
I don't think I get the recognition like in the Netherlands, but I don't blame like the Dutch people because I don't fight here. And when I fight, I'm also not on the television here, so the people don't know me. But in Asia and America, the people recognize me when I walk in the street. So it is
Yeah,
like this.
but I think it also probably has something good, right? Because it keeps you always down to earth. When you're here, I mean, you're training in the same gym that you trained like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Does that help you in a way?
Yes, it helped me because they say never change a winning team, right? And yeah, I've been so long with the same team, with the same guys, and yeah, what can I say? Yeah, never change a winning team again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What makes your team a winning team? Because you're surrounded by a lot of great people. I assume you've made like a dream team around you now that everyone understands your needs. Everyone knows what you need in order to promote your best.
Mhm.
What differentiates your team from other teams?
I think the difference between my team and other teams is that this is a small team. Like I said, there are like 7 professional fighters, and we have like 2 trainers. So it's like a small family. You can see it as a small family, and yeah, we get the attention that we need. So I think that is a difference because big gyms. I don't believe that in the big gyms every fighter get the same attention. It's possible, but not from the same person. You understand? So they get different vibes.
I had a very small talk with your trainer
Yeah.
before the fight,
Yeah.
and it was really interesting. He said, "Yeah, Regian doesn't have any arrogance.
Yeah.
He will fight with Baya, who is another great fighter, and he can also fight with a woman that just walks into the gym for the first time, and he will just treat her the same way. He will respect her the same way.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. It's not really a question. I just think that's really cool to see. And
Yeah, but that's also a sign of respect. I treat a professional fighter the same as I treat an old lady that want to spar with me. I'm not gonna hurt her the same, of course, but but yeah, I would treat her the same because she wanna learn also, and maybe I can learn also from her. So yeah.
do you think that
Yeah.
She also wants to be a guest on the podcast,
Yeah.
perhaps one day.
Maybe.
Even weer. So you talked about your training briefly. When it comes to your pre-game routine, so you fly there obviously. For how long do you stay in the country to get used to the climate and the?
Most of the time, a week, 8 days, 9 days.
How does that week look? Do you train there? Do you?
Yes, most of the time I arrive, then the same day I have nothing on the schedule. Just rest, maybe train if I have the energy after so long flight. Then the week before the fight, I have like medical checks, interviews, promo shoots, and of course training every day, losing the weight. Um, and then then I have the weigh-in and the hydration check, and then the day after is the fight. On fight day itself, I do just nothing, just eat, relaxing, watching a series, sleeping, just relax. And when we go to the stadium, most of the time when I go to the locker room, I have the last fight or the second last. Um, I just listen to music, start warming up, and I have most of the time a little box that I play my music on, and just mentally prepared for war. And then we fight. I do my dance, coming into the stadium, and I fight. After the fight, we look if I get a doctor check, go back to the hotel, and every time I have also interviews after the fight. So and then almost every time I have to answer all the messages. So I get only like 2 or 3 hours sleep, and then the next day, sometimes again a medical check, but then I have like 2 or 3 days. I'm free. I can enjoy the city where I'm at. Yeah.
When it comes to your pre-game routine, so prior to the podcast, we had a small talk about it. Could you tell us a little bit about the walk-in and the dance and the mask and everything that comes with the?
Yeah. So you have to imagine, most of the time you warm up, in the dressing room. Then 2 fights before your fight, they gonna come get you. So then most of the time when you're standing backstage, you have only one fight left, and then you have to fight. So sometimes it is an MMA fight. So it's 3 rounds of 5 minutes. So you stand there maybe 20 minutes, sometimes longer, half hour, just backstage doing nothing. So I'm losing up, warming up, and when I'm standing backstage, I play my music on my music box. But then is the time that I prepare myself for war. I fuck myself up. My trainer is also like pumping me up. Like you're gonna destroy this guy. And then they put on my mask, and then they say, okay, it's time to go. And then I let everything loose, because I am hungry, I'm aggressive. But then when I hear my music, I let everything loose, Then is the relaxation moment, You have to relax before you go into the chaos. So put on my mask, I hear my music, start dancing, enjoy my music, enjoy the energy, because in the stadium there are 20,000 people, and online there are millions that are looking. So just enjoy the moment, enjoy the energy, and then when they close the door from the cage, then it's wartime.
When it comes to the mask, could you tell us where that comes from? Like where it comes from?
It comes from the movie 300. From the Immortals. There's a Persian army, and like I said, my friends call me the Immortal because of my style in the amateurs, and I started to use that mask as my own logo because I like the movie a lot, you know, and I like the Persian army. So I just like, okay, let me use the mask.
And the dancing, does that have anything to do with your culture or your background?
Um, yeah, I believe, you know, if you look at my background, like my grandparents, they are from Africa, Nigeria exactly, from the Igbo tribe, and a lot of tribes in the past, before they go to war, they dance, you know, and I think also you need, like I said before, you need a relaxation moment before going into the chaos. So that's what I'm doing.
Very nice. And we see the
Yeah.
mask also tattooed on your leg. I'm always
Yes.
really interested in people's tattoos.
Yes. Yes.
Could you take us through your tattoos and talk about the meaning that they have, if you'd feel comfortable doing so?
Yes, yes. Well, the mask speaks for itself. I tattooed this mask when I became when I won my first title, Muay Thai in America. I had to get something that remembers me of the world title. So I put the mask. Um, this one is my name of my first daughter, Joella. Um, yeah, I have to put her name also. Yeah, yeah. And then I have my back fully tatted. Um, my first tattoo was the skull. Was a skull on my back with two roses. The skull stands two things. Everybody dies, so that's why the skull. And I'm not afraid of anybody. Um, the roses are representing life. You start small, you glowing, you go up, you go open, you're in the glow of your life, and then you're gonna shrink, and then you're getting older. You know, so life is like a flower. You know, you go open and you shrink again. Then I have a big woman, a black woman, with two guys that are like praying to her. Life comes from a woman, yes, and I believe that we have to respect all the women. So that's why I tatted a black woman on my back. I have respect for all women. I have also two women now, so
Yeah.
and yeah, the guys that are praying for her, you need also guys to produce humans, you know. So
Yeah.
so yeah, that's why. Um, then I have the wings. Yeah, I believe like a bird, you have to open your wings and fly, you know, and that's also life. On a certain point, you have to stand on your own feet and do it by yourself. That's why the wings. And then I have the. I'm not a believer, but I found this beautiful. I have the two hands that almost touch each other. I believe that if you want to accomplish something in life, you need somebody or something to reach that goal. You know, so you need people if you want to reach a certain goal. So that's why I added that. Yeah, yeah. Go.
I think the metaphor is really cool with the rose. Would you consider yourself now a fully open rose, or do you still have a lot to go through?
I'm not fully open right now, but it's getting opener and wider. Yes, yes. I'm not on my, how do you say, on my top yet. I think. I think maybe give me 1-2 years, and then I will be on my top.
What are some things that you think you still have room for improvement for? I mean, obviously there's always room to improve, but what are some things that you direct your focus to at the moment?
At the moment, I just bought a new house, so
Congratulations.
thank you. Um, so I have to how do you say,
Manage.
manage my schedule, and if I manage my schedule, then it will be better for me and my performances. Yeah. Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Is time management the thing that you have most, say, issues with now at the moment? Because you're doing a lot, right? You're training, you're coaching, you're doing personal training, you're cooking.
Yes, so
And you have children.
my schedule needs to be like very tight, you know. So and my house is not done yet. So I need to focus on a lot, you know. So when that's done, then my head is clear, you know. And when you have a clear head, then my opponents have a problem.
Yeah. And then we'd like to ask the last trademark question.
Yeah.
What does success mean to you?
Success means to me that you're happy in life. So I don't talk about money or, you know, buildings or clothes. You just have to be happy. That's success, man.
And that happiness, where does that come from for you at the moment?
For me, is spending time with my children, doing what I love, which is kickboxing, making money. Without money, no food, you know, no house. So that's also important. But it's also a happiness because I'm happy about what I'm making, you know, and what I bring to the table for my children also. So yeah, that's happiness for me.
I think you're really setting them up. You're really setting them up for greatness, and it's really inspiring. So
yeah, thank you.
Also for all the people watching, I hope you got something great out of this podcast. I hope Regian was able to inspire you. He inspired me for sure. And thank you, man. Thank you for everything you're doing. I wish you the best of luck with all the
You're welcome.
everything you're doing in your career, and we'll see each other soon again.
Thank you,
bro.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been.
Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! You should be a monster, and then you should learn how to control it.